I think one word you mentioned in class before was the word resilient. I believe that was the word. And when these people look at themselves in the mirror, they have to answer the question, is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? And on that note, from given your past experience, do you think these people, what are they aiming to achieve? Is it happiness, success? Like, how does the media portray it, and how do you think they think about it?
Yeah, so one thing that I've noticed with really successful entrepreneurs is they don't care about the money. Mm-hmm. That's not what motivates them, right? There are certainly lots of entrepreneurs that get into creating startups to create a lot of money, but they tend not to last because the money doesn't usually come overnight, and when it doesn't show up overnight, they start focusing on where the money is going to be easier to come by. The most successful entrepreneurs are, I think, pursuing, although they wouldn't say it, a version of happiness. Mm-hmm. In the sense that, my philosophy about happiness is that it has nothing to do with having it, right. Having something, or having comfort, or money, or security. It is being something, and being something really requires that you lean into something. You discover basically who you truly are, right? Happiness comes from uncovering your true self. Mm-hmm. And that is a journey, not a destination. Right. And that journey, opening yourself up to who you really are, requires that you oftentimes go through lots of trials to open you up, right? Things that look like problems and obstacles are what teach you who you really are. Mm-hmm. And so if you sort of step back and look at the path of entrepreneurship, that's what it does in a business context. And so successful entrepreneurs that have really created something over time, and oftentimes long, long periods of time, tend to be the most intrinsically happy people that I've met. And the people that have, and it has nothing to do whether based on how much money they have. The money and the success and the having the Gulfstream or whatever, the big house or the Ferrari or whatever it is that are the outward signs of their success isn't where their happiness comes from. It's the journey going from an idea to something that they create in the world. Right. Right.
I think one of the people we like to talk about is Timothy Ferriss. What he mentioned in his book was he doesn't want to settle for happiness. What he chases is actually excitement. So that's more learning new things, like you're traveling the world, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, learning new languages, getting new perspective on things, and just living life to the fullest from that extent. Because I think you mentioned this before, if you're you're successful, quote unquote successful, and you're chilling on a beach in Cabo, and then how long are you gonna just sit there, maybe for a week, and then you're gonna get bored of it? You're gonna want to do something else. And I think that feeling is what the entrepreneur has, and that's what keeps them. That's right. That's why they stay in the game for so long.
That's right. And it applies not just to entrepreneurs, but to everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, excuse me, if you look at successful people in any realm, what typically happens is they get to the pinnacle of their careers. They have achieved and created a lot of material wealth for themselves. And when they retire, they're kind of lost. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they're not in the doing of anything anymore. They're not expanding their consciousness. They're not learning anymore. They get to this destination called retirement. They've got all the stuff that they need and more. And now their job is to go play golf every day. And some people retire and get obsessive about their golf score and their handicap. But that's not really this continuous journey of learning, which Timothy Ferriss talks about, and I think Timothy Ferriss is probably one of the best examples of this idea of continuously challenging yourself and learning new things, right? And I'll bet you that Timothy Ferriss is probably one of the happiest people on the planet because he's not pursuing happiness. Mm-hmm. It's a byproduct of what he's doing, which is self-discovery. And entrepreneurs do that naturally. Right. Yeah.
I think if you're good at doing what you love, then I think money's abundant. I think it'll just follow. If you're good at it, you can translate it. You can monetize it.
Yeah. Before Timothy Ferriss came along, there was an author and a professor named Joseph Campbell who wrote a lot about the the sort of commonality of human experience across different ages, across different cultures, and has written a number of books, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and a number of other ones. And he's always sort of been a philosopher of the human experience that I've resonated with. And he came up with a phrase that people sort of use today, although it sounds a little hokey. It says it's follow your bliss, right? Meaning, pursue the thing that makes you, that brings joy into your life. Regardless of money or outcome or economic situation, follow your bliss in whatever way that resonates with you. If you're in a situation, you have a job, you don't like your job, but there's one little sparkle of bliss or joy in your life, focus on that. And focus on it and expand it. And in the expanding of it, it will burn out the rest of the stuff, right? And it will lead you to places that you would have never thought possible.
Right.
So this idea of follow your bliss is very closely related to the concept of entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problems are what leads you to solutions, which is what leads you to success ultimately. But the journey of going through that is what brings you happiness and joy, not the getting there to the success piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's pretty good.
Great.
So yeah, just to conclude, thank you, Professor. This has been an episode on what entrepreneurialism is, what the mindset is going in, and that we should all focus on the journey rather than the actual event or the destination that the media tends to focus on. And this is just another one of our mentors that we have along our way towards hopefully finding our own bliss and joy. So thank you, Professor.
My pleasure. Thank you.